The reflection Lena had always been uncomfortable around mirrors. As a child, she used to think she saw shadows moving in them, strange flickers at the edges of her vision. Her mother told her it was just her imagination, but even as an adult, she avoided looking into mirrors for too long. When she moved into a new apartment, she was happy with everything, except for one thing. In the hallway stood an old mirror, taller than her, with a heavy wooden frame. It looked antique, its glass slightly warped. She didn't like it, but it was too big to move alone, so she left it. She told herself it was just a mirror. That night, she woke up thirsty. The apartment was quiet, the kind of silence that felt too heavy. She walked to the kitchen, rubbing her eyes. As she passed the mirror in the hallway, something made her stop. She turned to look at her reflection. It was her, but not quite. Her face looked the same. Her body was in the same position. But something was wrong. Her reflection was smiling. Lena wasn't smiling. A chill ran down her spine. She stepped closer, heart pounding. The smile on her reflection widened, stretching too far, too unnaturally. Then, slowly, it raised a hand and waved. Lena gasped and stumbled backward. Her reflection's hand lowered. The smile faded. It looked normal again. She ran back to her bedroom and slammed the door. The next morning, the mirror was normal. Lena convinced herself she had imagined it. Maybe she was just tired. Maybe her brain had played tricks on her. But that night, it happened again. She woke up around 2 a.m., an uneasy feeling in her chest. This time, she tried to ignore it and stayed in bed. But the air felt heavy, like something was watching her. Slowly, she sat up. The door to her bedroom was slightly open. She could see the hallway and the mirror. Her breath caught in her throat. The reflection was there, standing in the mirror. But this time, it wasn't copying her. It was standing still, staring at her. Then it took a step forward. Lena screamed, jumped out of bed, and turned on every light in the apartment. The mirror was normal again. She grabbed a blanket and threw it over it. She decided she would get rid of it in the morning. When she woke up, the blanket was on the floor. A cold dread filled her. She hesitated before looking into the mirror. Her reflection was gone. She waved her hand. Nothing. No reflection. Just an empty mirror. Panic bubbled in her chest. She reached out and touched the glass. It was cold, smooth. She pressed harder. Suddenly, a whisper echoed in the room. "Let me out." Lena's breath hitched. The voice, it was her own. She took a step back. The mirror rippled like water and something moved inside. Then she saw it. Her reflection was in there, trapped behind the glass. It pressed its hands against the inside, eyes wide with terror. "Please," it begged, "switch with me." Lena stumbled backward. This wasn't real. It couldn't be real. The reflection slammed its fists against the glass. "You have to trade places. That's how it works." Lena shook her head and ran for the door. But the apartment had changed. The walls stretched endlessly and the front door was gone. She turned back. The mirror was right in front of her again. The reflection grinned. "You should have switched while you had the chance." The glass shattered. Darkness swallowed Lena. When she opened her eyes, she was in the mirror. She pounded on the glass, screaming, but no sound came out. Outside, in her apartment, her reflection stretched, rolled its shoulders, and smiled at her. Then it turned away and walked out of sight. Lena was alone. Trapped. Forever.